Namaskar. Today in this video we are going to learn about the three principal lines of Pradhan Rekha that are seen or that are analyzed in any palm. The three principal lines are the heart line as per the Western palmistry, the head line which you must have read in the books, and the lifeline. But in Nadi we generally use different terms and names for this, and the functions are also different. Some of them are similar to the Western palmistry, but Nadi, as you know, is quite in depth in terms of its interpretation because we link these lines with the corresponding graha or planets. I won't call planets here, I would call graha. There is a difference between graha and planet. That's a different topic, but here I'm going to refer to graha as planets. I mean, in Western palmistry they call it planet, but we are going to call it graha here. Okay, so in Nadi, heart line is called Jupiter line. That means Guru Rekha. It's called Jupiter line or Guru Rekha. The headline is known as Kuja Rekha, line of Mars. Okay, Mars line. Kuja means Mars. Mangal Rekha. The lifeline is Shukra Rekha, Venus, line of Venus. Okay, line of Venus. So these are the three principal lines. Now where are they located? As you know that in any palm these three lines are the most important. It's like in any patrika, in any kundali, what you do generally is to first check the Lagna, lagnesh, and the trikon of the mooltrikona of the particular kundali, isn't it? And then you check the moon. So these are the parameters, basic parameter. The first thing that you do in chart reading is to check the Lagnasthan, Lagnesh, the mooltrikon, that is 159, and the moon. This is the first thing that we do, and then thereafter we go deeper into that. Similarly, here we check the Guru Rekha. This is the Guru Rekha, this is the Kuja Rekha, and this is the Shukra Rekha. Now you will see that in Jain palmistry there is a difference, slight difference. I'm going to give you the interpretations from different systems of palmistry. In Western palmistry, this is heart line. In Nadi, it is Jupiter line. In traditional Indian, North Indian or Indian Hasta Samudrik Shastra, this is called Ayush Rekha. This is called Ayush Rekha. That means it is actually the lifeline. In the traditional Indian system, this is the lifeline or Ayush Rekha. In Nadi, when you say Jupiter, we generally call this as Jiva Rekha. That means Jiva means Jupiter in Nadi, and that's why this Rekha is also known as Jiva Rekha. Why? Because it has got a connection from the first finger, which is the Jupiter mount. So it actually should reach the Jupiter mount. Need not reach, as you know, because generally I'm talking about the general orientation of the line. It may or may not reach. That's an advanced palmistry concept, but right now we're just looking at basics. So when you look at any palm, you have to first locate the Jiva Rekha, then you should look at the headline. Now this line is called Kuja Rekha, as I mentioned. Kuja Rekha. Kuja is Mars. This is also called headline in Western palmistry. In traditional Indian palmistry, this is called Matru Rekha. Matru Rekha. So that is another name that is given to this line. This line is seen for many things. We will discuss that later, but today we're just looking at the lines. Then comes the lifeline. This is called Shukra Rekha or lifeline. In the Indian, in the Hindu Hasta Samudrik Shastra, this is also called as Pitru Rekha. So in the charts, sometimes at times many jyotishis say you have Pitrudosh. Those things are seen from this line. Okay, there are many formations that show Pitrudosh. It's a very common dosh that is seen in many palms. Doesn't mean anything in most of the cases, but this is kind of a traditional interpretation of this line, Pitru Rekha. So anything related to father can be seen from this line as per the Hasta Samudrik Shastra. Now, the Jain palmists have a different style of reading. Their system is slightly different. They consider this Rekha, which we call as the Ayush Rekha or the heart line or the Jupiter line, they call it Shukra Rekha. So this is Shukra Rekha as per the Jain system, and this is Jupiter or the Jiva Rekha as per the Jain system. Both Nadi and Jain systems are almost the same when it comes to interpretation. Slight differences are there because we interchange these two and then we do the analysis, because in Nadi we use chart also, and rounds of Jupiter and rounds of Jupiter. So there we have to use different techniques, and in Jain palmistry they use different techniques. So basically, what we generally do here is to use these lines to check the position or the placement of the graha. Number one, it could also show the condition of the particular graha in the chart. It could also show the aspects on a particular graha, let's say Shukra, Guru, and Kuja. It could also show the conjunction. It could also show parivartan or exchange. It could also sometimes show the gochar effects, because certain symbols or signs on these rekha can show that the particular time period would not be good or would be good, or there would be gains or there would be losses, etc. It could also show that there is some past, like maybe, for example, the person has suffered something in the family, and because of that he's getting these effects, meaning it is not because of him but it's because of some other person. It could be from the family, or it could be because of some past history, or it could be because of the partner. So the lines here show a lot of things, but please don't consider that every time you see a broken Shukra Rekha, it means that the Shukra is not in good shape. That's not it. That's not what it means. Or when you say Guru Rekha absent, for example, you have Simian crease, and then you say that, oh, there is no Guru Rekha, there is no Kuja Rekha. It doesn't work like that. Here they are merged. At times you won't see anything. So it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. You have to go deep into the palm to understand and interpret each and every line. Every single line has got a particular orientation. The general orientation, I'm talking about the general orientation of Guru Rekha is from this point to this point. Basically, you have to measure the length. You have to measure the length, and you have to measure the length of these three rekha, and there is a calculation that we make generally, and based on that, if some people have confusion about their lagna, you can arrive at a lagna, that means ascendant can be calculated, but that's very complicated and risky and prone to errors because the measurement is not easy. Okay, but this is a method that is used by many palmists, astropalmists. Okay, because in Nadi we don't use lagna, the matter doesn't arise, but I'm telling you in general that the lengths of these are kind of measured, and then there is a particular formula that you use, and we arrive at the lagna or ascendant. Okay, which rashi, basically that's how it is done. In Nadi, at times you will see that the thumb is used to kind of interpret or arrive at the lagna, but what I have seen is that in case of thumb, it gives you the overall effects, or how the person is the structure of the person or the life of the person, everything can be seen from the thumb and from the pattern here. Lagna means the person itself, right? So you can say the nature of the person. It may or may not give accurately the particular lagna as per chart, but it certainly gives the nature of the person. It also shows whether he's going to have a good life, average life, not a good life, etc., etc. It can show that. It can also show obstructions. It can also show strength of shukra, because this thumb is linked to shukra mount. So there are a lot of things that can be seen from the thumb. We can also see when you take a thumb impression on a black black paper with ink, of course, the organic ink, when you place and when you take, and if you see bright marks, let's say for example here you can see here there's a brightness. So if you are able to observe some brightness, then it shows that presence of some luminary. It means that the shukra, or particular, you can see that these are the lines. You have to count the number of lines, and you have to measure the degrees. This is another technique that is used, but it's very complicated. It's not easy, and it takes a lot of time. You can see that there is a hatta means kind of a handle. So from the handle you have to use you have to start the calculations until you reach the point where everything merges. Now these this is the sign, this is the place where you have the earth signs, and you can see that these lines also show the degrees and the strength. So there are a lot of calculations. It's not that easy. I'm just giving you an overview of how things are seen in Nadi. So what we generally say is that when you analyze a Rashi chart, because we don't use Lagna, so what I recommend that you should use Lagna, but in Nadi we don't need the Lagna, because we are using thumb, we use the mounts, we use the lines, and we also use this part. We will go into that later. So we look at all these and arrive at the predictions, because in Nadi we use rounds of Jupiter. So first round, second round, like that. So first round is 0 to 12 years, then from 12 like that. So we use 12 years, and within the 12 years each year, and then from in every year we go 6 months, and then within 6 months, like that. So we go step by step into the predictions. So if for example second round of Jupiter, that is from 12 to 24, is the time when a person undergoes education. So you have to focus at that time on the Buddha finger, Buddha mount, the influences on Buddha, as well as the sun mount, because these two are important. And then looking at the quality of these two mounts, we should interpret it from the Guru Rekha. So there are a lot of things, plus the signs at that time on the Kuja Rekha show whether he is going to face problems in education or not, or what kind of education, what is his orientation, and whether he is having a good life or not. So because you can see that at times there is a yava here, there is a double yava here, there is an open thing like this, open yava here, there is an interfering line here. So there are a lot of things that you have to check. I'm just, again, this video is only an overview, which is actually going to give you an idea about the line, the three principal rekha, as well as some other things in Nadi palmistry. For example, again I'll repeat this is Guru Rekha, this is Kuja Rekha, this is Shukra Rekha. In Hindu in Hindu Hasta Rekha, this is called Ayush Rekha, this is called Pitru Rekha, and this is called Matru Rekha. And in Western palmistry we know that this is heart line, this is head line, and this is lifeline. So orientation of these lines give an idea about the placement of the graha. We can also do the timing from the Guru Rekha, and that is highly specialized work. it requires lot of practice. The same thing can be done from the headline. Of course, lifeline, everybody in every single book you will see that this they have these ages marked, but that's not the only place where you do the age calculations. The age calculations are also done on these lines, which is not shown in the books. Okay, so you have to look at those things as well. Age calculations are also done on the Shani Rekha, and they are done in a different manner, in a different way. Most of the books say, and rightly so, that when the Shani Rekha stops at the headline, roughly it is age 36. But that is when you consider the Shani Rekha as the frame of reference. Now, see, this is little confusing for those who are reading or learning palmistry for the first time. Now, see, the general orientation of Shani Rekha is from this place. That's Ketu Mount, they say, but then from here and it goes until here. Okay, so now if the Shani Rekha stops here, this part up to this part is age 35. It's divided into 5 parts. Each part is 7 years. Okay, so that's how things are calculated. I mean, you can also work around it and you can also practice. But if the Shani Rekha is not long enough, then suppose it starts like this, and this cannot be considered as 35 in all the palms. I hope you understand why. Because the length here needs to be, the length has to be from here. So we cannot consider it 35 or 36 every time. As you know that the maturity of the graha and its change in nature occurs around 35 in astrology. That's what I've read. Many books say that Shani matures at 35, whatever. But this concept is actually linked to astropalmistry, to be honest. I don't know how it has come in astrology, but this is purely an astropalmistry concept, because the intersection of the Shani Rekha with the Kuja Rekha is age 35 mostly, provided the Shani Rekha starts from the bracelets. Okay, mani band, you don't have to worry about these terms, just giving you. So this particular age 35 is very critical in palmistry. Now, I have also seen that in astropalmistry, in Nadi astropalmistry, this particular points here, these 3 points also are to be seen from the point of view of Kuja Rekha. For example, here we can say from the now I'm considering Kuja Rekha as the frame of reference. Therefore, this is 33, this is 32, and this is 31. I hope you understand what I'm trying to do. So when I took the Shani Rekha as the frame of reference, the timing changes. When I look at the Kuja Rekha, the timing changes here. Now, if you look at the Shukra Rekha and try to visualize. Now, again, if you look at the Shukra Rekha and then visualize, this fate line is 28 years. I mean, this point is 28 years. So there are variety of interpretation or various ways of looking at the ages or the activation. Now, how can we consider a particular age as true? Maybe it's 28 or 33 or 35. How do we do that? That's what I'm saying. Rounds of Jupiter are important. So in a particular round, you have to observe the difference between Jupiter's placement and Saturn's placement in the Rashi chart. These things can only be understood with practice. There is no rule, like general rule like you have in astrology. No, there is no general rule, because lines are unique. They keep changing from person to person, unlike astrology where the placement is the same. So you just have to have different interpretations. Here the lines itself are different, so you have to understand it based on the the particular palm and the orientation of that particular line in that particular palm. Okay, so you have to practice a lot. Now the other thing is that now any deformity, for example, you will see here, suppose this is the line, this is the thickness, and then it thins out, that's okay. But if this line is thin here and it becomes thicker, that's not good. The same thing is true if it is thicker here and thins out here, good. It should not be the opposite. That means it's thicker here and it thins out, no, not good. Okay, so these are basic things. In general, the shukra rekha should be of uniform thickness. In general, at times you will see that the thickness here is less or more, and then there is less thickness here or more thickness here, and then it becomes thin. This is not a desirable sign. In case of shukra rekha, it's always good to have uniform thickness. But in case of headline and heart line or jiva rekha or kuja rekha or matru rekha, thickness changes are okay as long as they follow the particular norm. That means thicker here and it thins out. Other thing you should note is that if the kuja rekha is blunt, you understand, it's blunt. Blunt means it doesn't have a focus. That means the person lacks focus. Okay, it should be sharp. It should have a sharp ending. That's most important. So we have to understand it this way. As for the guru rekha, in general, as I told you, as per the traditional Nadi palmistry rules, this is the guru mount. The guru rekha should reach here or cross or breach or reach here. At times it goes like this, it's okay. But in many palms you will see that it doesn't reach this part. That's also okay, but there are different interpretations in that case. Okay, that is advanced palmistry. We will have to go in depth into that later, but as of now you should know the basic rules. At times you will see that the guru rekha turns towards the shani. You will also see that the guru rekha may have breaks like this. So there are a lot of things here. In some palms you will see that the guru rekha is forked. There are 3 forks. So there are a lot of things. Again, in many palms you will see that there is gau pooch. Gau pooch means like this, like a tail, cow's tail. This is for guru rekha. So that is also one sign that is seen. So there are a lot of things, lot of variations within each line. Here you can see that there is a defect here and there is a line that merges. So any line that emanates from the guru rekha shows aspects. Any defect on the guru rekha shows problems at that particular age. What kind of problems? That depends on the sign here and the age calculations here, and here. So you have to calculate the age of that particular event in every single line. Sometimes you have to look at the mounts also. So those are the things that you have to learn as we go into the advanced palmistry. Okay, so this was just a video that was giving that gave you an overview of the 3 pradhan rekha and some other points. Of course these will be covered step by step as we learn, but always remember that you must practice more and more by actually analyzing more and more palms practically. So in this case you will see that the thickness is uniform, but it thins out here, again it thins out here, but the Guru Rekha is not very stable. Why? You can see for yourself. See the Guru Rekha, it's not very stable. So, and there is a fork here. One of the lines. Please check this out. See this? Do you see this pattern? And it merges into Meena Rashi. Okay, and then other part goes towards the Mesha Rashi, where it touches the line that comes from the Kuja Rekha. And then there is a packing, that means there is an aspect on this. Of course the Kuja Rekha starts, and at this point you can see there is a sharp bend, that means a change in life or change in location. So this is how you interpret, this is how the interpretation is done. It's quite deep and it's very interesting, and you can always relate it to the charts and try to see if the particular graha is giving that particular effect as per its placement or not. Okay, so these are the things that you see. Thank you very much for watching the video.